stage?
No.
No. Okay.
It's gonna be no,
Oh
no. It
no.
is not. It is not wanting to cooperate, but I
You
am
might have
trying
to
to
do
get.
a whole new setup. You might have to do a
Yeah.
whole new setup on YouTube and
That's
wait
what
like
I was
five,
just
ten
doing.
minutes.
Well, let me just make
Yeah.
that announcement. Let's give ourselves like some
Yeah.
time, and I'll just let them know. Hey,
Just let
we don't
everybody
have.
know, hey, tech difficulties. I've had to do that
Yeah.
before when I used to do my live paranormal
Yeah.
investigations
We
on
are live
YouTube
right
years
now.
ago. Oh,
Hi, everybody. We can't
All
see
right.
ya.
hey,
So it is
why is
working
that?
now.
It is working.
Uh,
30-second delay.
yes. I am going to. So,
There we
eh,
are. There we are. I see it.
over in the studio chat, I'm going to send everybody the link in case you want to share it. Hmm. Oh, there we go. I already got somebody showing up here.
Okay. Good,
Mm.
good, good.
Ah, Area 51. Thank you for making it over to
Oh,
this
Dwayne,
emergency
hi.
side stream.
Yeah. I don't know how that happened. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us.
Yes.
Massive tech
We're
difficulties tonight.
professionals.
We are. Hey, man.
YouTube was not wanting to cooperate with me. I wasn't enjoying it.
Jeez.
Man, YouTube. The
Gotta love
sneaky,
it.
close. Get you. All right. Well, we're 15 minutes behind, but shall we start
Yeah.
this thing?
Let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll open it. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen, where you can expect more tech difficulties just like this, awesome drink recommendations, and very cool guests, apparently, which we'll introduce here in a second. He's chill. He's chill. So yes, tonight, D-Booze, I'm gonna hand it over to you because you always introduce the show concept. So tell everybody what we are talking about tonight, and then we'll get into what we're drinking.
Yeah. So tonight we're taking it back to when did these promos start? Like the late '70s, early '80s. Stranger danger, stuff like that. So we want to know about your creepiest encounters with a stranger. Whether they try to get you to get in their van with some candy, or they just sneaking up behind you walking down the street. Whatever it is, we want to talk about it. We want to hear those creepy encounters of these strange fucking people.
Yes,
That's what we want to talk about.
and I was saying prior to prior to our first live that went up 15 minutes ago but didn't go up, so we're here now. But prior to that, I'm really hoping for like a third man factor encounter. I think that would be super cool. Or the time that you met somebody that like that motherfucker right there is not real. Like I want to hear that show.
So
I want to
one
hear
of
that
them's back on the
story.
plane.
All right, all right. Well, you know what? I think let's introduce our featured guests tonight first, and then let's get into our drinks because I want them to introduce what they're drinking too. So,
Absolutely.
um,
Awesome.
I do have an introduction here ready for you. Tonight, we are joined by Dave Spinks, a veteran paranormal investigator and researcher who has been exploring the unknown since 1986. I was born 2 years before that. with
Me too.
over with over 30
Oh, I feel
years.
old.
Oh no. with over 30 years in the field, Dave brings a unique perspective to the supernatural, grounded in his professional background as an 8-year veteran of the U.S. Air Force and a retired federal law enforcement officer because he is friggin' cool. Since retiring from law enforcement in 2011, Dave has conducted hundreds of investigations across the US and Europe, which I want to ask you about that, specializing in hauntings, cryptids, and ufology. You likely recognize him from his many television appearances on shows like Discovery's Expedition X, Terror in the Woods, Paranormal 911, and History Channel's The Unexplained. I'm going to cut it there because it keeps going, and I want you to tell us about that. Thanks, Joey, but we're going to let Dave speak on his own behalf. Um, welcome, Dave. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
officially.
thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. We got to talking to you a little bit after, prior to when we went live, and yeah, you're hella cool. You're hella cool. You're into a lot of stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
we want to hit on some of that tonight while we're dodging
Yeah,
and
man.
weaving calls.
Let's do it.
Ma'am,
Well,
I'm gonna step in here really quick, and I'm gonna
yes.
take credit. I wrote out Dave's bio, which is why, Dave, I haven't even been chatting with you behind the scenes. I've been freaking out
Thanks,
about the
bro.
electronics.
Appreciate it.
But I already know about you, bro. I already read into you.
He's all red up.
Appreciate it.
Super impressive background. Yeah, I did kind of wanted to throw out there very early on, like I wanted to set up some of your credibility, your credentials, right? Your street cred out here. You spent years as a federal law enforcement officer and in the Air Force. So I just want to jump in with some questions. How does that real world tactical training change the way you approach a haunted location compared to, say, what you see from typical investigators?
Well, I think having an investigative background, first and foremost, you can apply those techniques to the paranormal in some ways with your research and your investigative techniques and such like that. And that's kind of how I approach it: the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And that's how we did it in the law enforcement. You the best way I can describe it, like I write my books the same way. Like it's no muss, no fuss with me. I'm not writing any fiction. I'm telling you, look, this is where I was. This is what I experienced, you know, and this is how I felt, and so on and so forth. Make up your own mind. I'm not trying to convince anybody of this. I know what I know based off my experiences, and I can't tell Joe Blow down the road that they didn't have the experience they had or felt they had either, because I wasn't there. So I try to keep an open mind. As an investigator, you always have to think outside the box, no matter what you're investigating. First off, you have to have, especially in the paranormal, you have to have an open mind, because anything's possible. We don't know enough yet scientifically to say, okay, I know for a fact that was that. That's a demon. You see all these TV shows. Let me tell you, I'll be the first person to tell you. Most of them are pure garbage. Okay, when it comes to evidence stuff, they're scripted. They're full of donkey doo doo. You know what I mean? There are some good. Over the years there have been a few good shows out there that do it by the book. Like, and I know one for a fact because I was on it. It was Ghost Nation with Jason Hawes and those guys. They do it by the book. They're in my opinion, they're overly skeptical. Okay. And you have to be a skeptic doing this first and foremost, but I've seen them, just throw out some stuff that was pretty awesome that I thought personally was paranormal related, but that's their choice. It's their show. So like, if you saw the episode I was on, it was Demonic Plantation. That was my case that I spent 2.5 years working on down in South Carolina, in this old deep South plantation. Okay. So, and I get calls like that all the time. Hey, Dave, you got, the TV people call me. Hey, what do you got? You got something good for us? But let me tell you how it works. So they're looking for a certain aesthetic. Okay. It's got to be this grand, crazy location, because they want it to look good on TV. First of all, they give you a minimum square footage. What does it look like? And all that. Now you have to send in all these pictures. And that was one case I was contacted about, and I gave it to them, and they wanted to do it. So we did it, So that's kind of how it works. The real, people that are doing this nonstop, and don't get me wrong, Jason and those guys are the real deal. Okay. They do it by the book. But there's some other ones out there. They're just straight up actors. Some of the shows I've actually been on, I was very disappointed. And I often go to conferences, and especially one of the shows that I told my story, what started me in this Terror in the Woods, they added stuff that didn't happen. They acted like things happened that didn't happen. It really, and I was naive back then to TV because that was my first like real national TV show I was on, and I
Right.
saw it. I saw it when everybody else did the end results, and I was like, "What the frick?" You know. So I tell people at conferences, "Remember this part? Remember that part?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, "It didn't happen," and they're like flabbergasted. You know, they're like, "What do you mean it didn't happen?" I said, "Look, TV is like a double-edged sword when it comes to this stuff. You've got, you know, they feel they need to make it scarier and stuff for whatever reason, but they really don't, because it was a terrifying experience for me. It changed my life. That's what sent me on this path. You know, I was a 13-year-old boy and saw this Bigfoot creature with my grandpa on one of our fishing trips, and it terrified me for years. The sound that this thing made was just ungodly. And my grandpa was a preacher after World War II for 40 years, and he was scared. And that man was not scared of anything. Let me tell you, he was a second wave at Normandy as a medic, so you can imagine what he saw and went through.
Right.
And when I saw him scared, I was even more scared. And you know, we made a pact for all those years not to tell anybody what we actually saw. And then I find it, the whole story is crazy because I kept my promise to him, but at the same time, I wanted to know what it was we saw, and he wouldn't talk to me about it. To him, that was the devil. I mean, he actually said that. He goes, "That's the devil, son. We don't talk about that." And I'm like, "What do you mean it was a devil? It looked like a big, huge ape man to me. It doesn't look like no devil that I've ever heard of." But whatever it was pissed we were there. It didn't like we were there, and it let us know, get the hell out of here. You know, so I didn't go in the woods and I grew up hunting and fishing. I'm from West Virginia. That's what we do, you know. And I didn't go in the woods for like 6, 7 years. I actually had PTSD from this experience for many years. I had nightmares about it, you know. But at the same time, you have that little voice in your head saying, "What was that?" You know, little by little. And back in those days, we didn't have internet, you know. So I would go to the school library, the local library, and I started just looking for ape men stuff and all this stuff. And lo and behold, I started finding articles about it, and I'm like, man, that's what I saw. And then I saw the show, the original In Search Of, and they were happened to be a Bigfoot episode, and I was like, that's what we saw. I'm not crazy. There's other people that saw this thing, you know, all over the world, and it just snowballed from there. And I've been on that path ever since, you know.
So Bigfoot was your very first
Yep.
introduction to all this?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's a hell
That's
of
how
a
my
way to get
first book's
jumped in,
called.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the weird thing with me is the first two paranormal experiences I had was with both of my grandfathers. They were both World War II veterans. My and the one with the Bigfoot was my dad's dad, the preacher, and the second one when I was a few years later, like I was about 16 and a half, and my other grandpa was dying of cancer because he was a radar operator in World War II, and they had no radiation shielding on those radars, and he got cancer from it, and plus he smoked Camel non-filter like a freight train, so bad that they put a stoma in his neck, and he had a hole, and he would stick the cigarettes in there and smoke them.
Oh no.
And I was like, man, Papa, what are you doing? You know? And he's like, oh, you gotta die sometime, boy. You know, with
Oh
that
no.
crazy thing they gave him. And I'm like, and then I'm staying at my dad's house one summer, and my mom's dad lived about, and my mom's dad and mom lived about 30 miles away. And I was at my dad's, and I woke up in the middle of the night for no reason, and I was just covered in sweats. And there's my mom's dad in my bedroom at my dad's house. No reason he would have ever been there because they've been divorced since I was like 2 or 3 years old. And I'm kind of doing like this number going, what are you doing here, Papa? I mean, he was as clear as me and you right now. I mean, he looked just like we do. And I noticed that he looked really good and he didn't have a stoma. And I said, what are you doing here? And he didn't say a word. He just smiled and dissipated right in front of me. And I was like, man, that was an effed up dream, you know? So I went back to sleep. And I woke up the next morning. Of course, that's on my mind because it was so vivid and so real. So I called up there to check on him. And my uncle from out of state answered the phone. And I asked him, I said, what are you doing there? And he goes, no one called you yet? And I said, no, what are you talking about? He goes, your grandpa died last night. We're coming in for the funeral.
Man.
Mm.
And I'm like, what? And I didn't say nothing. I kind of just dropped the phone and didn't say nothing to nobody about this dream I had. And then about, I don't know, it was probably 6, 7 months later, a bunch of us were up at grandma's spending time with her and talking about her and grandpa and everything. Just family getting together, and we're around the dinner table and there's like 20 of us. And that little voice in my head, it's telling me, it's just like that movie in Animal House when you see the devil and the angel on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And that voice is saying, tell them about the dream. Tell them about the dream. And then the other voice is saying, no, they're going to think you're nuts. No, they're going to think you're nuts. Right. So I just came out with it at the dinner table. And it was like that E.F. Hunting commercial from the old days. Everybody just stopped. And I noticed like a bunch of their faces went just pure white. And they're like, oh my God, I had the same dream that night. Oh my God, I had the same. And it goes around the table. Not everybody, but a lot of
Yeah.
us had the same dream. And
Yeah.
that's when I knew. I said, you know what? He was coming to say goodbye
Mm-hmm.
wherever he was going after that. And I knew there was more to just us dying and that's it. We go somewhere else. Our energy transmutes and
Right.
moves to the next plane. And he was letting us know, hey, I'm okay. I'll see you when I see you, type of
Mm-hmm.
deal. And that
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
just snowballed what I was already into, looking up and researching, and when I, got to be a senior in high school, just out of high school into college, I really started hitting this stuff hard. But I had many other stories in my family growing up, and I thought it was all, they're just trying to scare us and stuff. But it's just a whole lifetime of this
Yeah.
stuff that had to do with my mom, all kinds of things. So
Oof.
Do you do you count yourself lucky in a kind of way that maybe it wasn't like immediately squashed there at the beginning, so you had a little room, and like like you said, like right after high school you were able to start like hitting it harder and harder, like a lot of folks, and I got to say
hmm
myself included, like I really did not get into it at this level until my late 30s, because
Mm.
yeah.
a lot of people just squash that stuff down, like no, 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 that didn't happen, or other
Well,
people
I
didn't
got
believe you,
my
so
first EVP. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it happened. But I got my first EVP. I saw after seeing that Bigfoot stuff on
yeah.
In Search of, and then I was kind of hooked on that show. So whenever I had a chance, I would watch it. And I saw Hans Holzer on there, and he was using a
Mhm.
tape recorder with the old mic that you plug in. And
Right.
I just got one of those for Christmas. And back in those days, what we used to do as kids was we would turn our radio on and we would record our favorites. We'd wait by the radio for our song to come, our songs, and we'd record it on a cassette tape, with the microphone off the radio. It was horrible quality, but that's how we got our stuff. And so when I saw that episode, we as a family, my stepdad was in the Air Force. I grew up on military bases also. We would take all these crazy family trips. And this one time we went to a place called Mesa Verde. And it's about the Anastasi people who just disappeared. They don't know what happened to
Mm.
them. And there's a lot of UFO talk up there.
Hmm.
So I said, man, I'm taking my recorder and I think I can do what Hans Holzer did and try to get EVPs. And lo and behold, it was during the week when we were there. There was no park rangers, no people, nobody. And you had to climb down these giant wooden ladders into the Pueblo because they made this huge Puebloan city under this ginormous rock cliff. And it at one time had thousands of people in it. And we climbed down these ladders, nobody there but us as a family. And I went over by myself and I started trying to emulate what I saw Hans Holzer doing. When I played it back, I had Native American drumming, I had chanting, and I ran to my mom. I was like, look at this. And she freaked out. She said, I don't turn that off. Turn that off. I don't want to hear that. So, that was it, just like I said, it
Mm.
snowballed and it just went crazy, for me. And
Damn.
I've been doing it ever since. So
Hmm.
and one of
Yeah.
my favorite pieces of evidence is an EVP like that. You can't explain it. It's unexplained. It's paranormal 100%.
Right, right,
Mm.
yeah. Just Sorry, Gil. I just started working with a group recently that and they're all fabulous, but we do have a resident skeptic, but very very much so skeptic, and I'm kind of in charge of audio, and we did capture a few EVPs, very interesting EVPs specific to the location, and I was showing the person, and I mean good that they're like questioning it and like running through the rigmarole,
Mhm.
but also like there's some like kind of undeniability about it too, and I don't know, that's
Right.
what that made me think of.
Yeah, that's what's the see. That's the fun part for me. That's the mystery and the creepiness.
Yeah,
And what is
yeah.
that? What are we dealing with here?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never. You'll never hear me say. I know for a fact that's what I was communicating with because it's just not true. That would be an outright lie. It
Mm-hmm.
is creepy as hell though. When you
Yeah.
can ask a question and out of thin air, you get a different voice and it's answering your question, and you can look it up and match it up to factual
Yep.
Hmm.
information.
Yep.
How do you explain that? I mean, that's bizarre and it's creepy and it's paranormal.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can tell you what I was feeling. I've been doing this long enough to where I can walk into a place and I can feel, kind of like if it's heavy, mad, sad, bad, whatever. You can kind of feel that, as an empathic person,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of and the longer you do this stuff, the more attuned you get with it as well, too. And you
You
can
do get
start
more
sensing
sensitive.
those
Yeah.
things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Are you naturally like do you have like psychic or empathic abilities?
I
Because
don't claim to, but
you seem
people
to
have told me.
attract a lot of things like
Yeah.
sincere.
I mean, people have told me that, but I can't confirm or deny.
Oh.
I get feelings. I'll just tell you.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing we call using your gut, or
Yeah.
you kind of.
Hmm.
I don't. I don't. That's not my forte, but I do. I can tell you if I've had a lot of things happen like that, that are
Right.
like I, feel things that are going to happen before they happen, and they happen. So, but
Okay.
I'm kind of the guy that I want the hard evidence, and it's very hard to get. So
Hmm. Yeah.
Harry Carey, did you want to pop this comment up? It's kind of fun. Harry Carey had a question there in the chat.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
All right, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Is it possible that Bigfoot is native to this planet, but has gone extinct, but is with the aliens that are here? Oh, oh, it's a long one. That are here, and they occasionally let him off craft to stretch his legs and get some fresh air.
Sweet.
that's multiple questions. I mean,
Yeah.
really, okay. As far
He's a
as we
poet.
know, we don't have a Bigfoot body. As far as we know, there are those that
Hmm.
theorize or think that the government does have bodies of these things. Um, there's people that think they are extraterrestrial. Some people think they're interdimensional. Some people think they are ghosts of a long dead extinct ape species. They could be all of that or one of those. We don't know. I know what I saw was real and it was interacting with the environment, was shaking trees that were 40, 50 feet tall, that were saplings,
Jesus.
and tearing the woods down and making the most god awful noise you can imagine. I still get shivers about it when I think about it because number one, it was in a canyon of a river canyon, and so it just echoed exponentially down that
Yeah.
even more so. And it was like 50, 60 yards away from us, and you could still tell how massive this thing was. It had no
Hmm.
neck. It was my grandpa was like 6'3", 6'4", and his arms were bigger than my legs. Okay, he was a massive dude, and I seen him carry car engine blocks up on the porch like 8 steps and set them down by himself. I mean, that's how strong he was, and I knew it could stomp him like a tin can. That's how
Oh
big this thing
man.
was, and
Damn.
so whatever it was, I don't know. It looked like a man walked like similar to us, but it was like 5 times bigger,
Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
could see the muscle striations in the thing's arms and back. It was unreal. I never saw its face because it never looked back at us. Because if you read my book and my story, my grandfather was shooting at it with an old squirrel gun we kept for snakes on the river when we were fishing. So I think he really peed it off big time. He made it matter. So long story short, I never saw its face, but it was massive. It was massive.
Mm.
So to answer that question, that's multiple questions, but nobody really knows what these things are. I mean, there's
Right.
multiple answers to that, multiple theories.
Sure, sure. I'm kind of on online with the. I mean, they're physical something. They leave a lot of
Mhm.
behind a lot of physical evidence. They make a lot of physical sounds and you see them
But
and they
yet
look
there's
physical. But
hmm
there's question. Yeah,
and
there
there's
is.
all these accounts where hunters have seen these things. They're leaving a trackway. They follow the tracks. They got eyes on it. It goes
Yeah,
around this brush pile, and the hunter gets there, and it's
it's just
no foot more foot tracks, and it's gone.
yeah,
Like beam me up, Scotty.
yep,
So what happened? Did it
yep,
did it go through a portal? Was it beamed up? What's going on?
yeah.
So so
We
there's
got
no real answers to any of those questions.
another quick follow up. Harry Carey was asking, what time did you see it? Like, what time of day
It's in the late
did you see it?
evening in the summer, late evening, probably half an hour before
Okay.
dark.
Mm.
Okay. Gotcha. Dang.
Interesting.
That's what
I think
my
we've all felt this way at some point. I absolutely cannot tolerate one more hunter encounter that says they couldn't
well
pull the
there
trigger.
well
Oh,
there's been a lot of hunters that claim to
Yeah.
have pulled the trigger and it doesn't affect them in any
Yeah.
way whatsoever.
Mhm.
oh,
And I look at
Mm.
it as like if I saw one again and I was in my tree stand hunting and I would not shoot it
Mm-hmm.
unless my life was in danger because it looks
mhm.
too human like to me. You know, if the
Right.
thing was coming at me like maybe then I would shoot it, but many a hunter stories out there that they have shot these things and had no effect on it. So I don't know. I
Damn.
can't speak to
Mm.
that because I haven't done that. So
Right.
See, I feel like Dwayne. I feel like I would be one of them stories. I'm so sorry because if that's what I hear over and over again, Dave, is that I couldn't shoot because it looked too human. Like, yeah,
Right.
you're right there. You got a gun in hand. You could put this mystery to bed, but like, it looked too human. I understand that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
talked to this one hunter and he was here in West Virginia near the New River Gorge in his tree stand, and he said he saw one that was behind a tree, and it kept peeking its head out at him like, here's the tree, and it kept
Hmm.
going like this, and he
Mm.
saw it, so he put his scope on it, and he said he looked right into its eyes, and it looked so human that it was crazy.
Mm.
So would it be considered murder then? I don't
Right.
know.
That's the
What
Right.
are
thing.
we dealing with here? We don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's just one of those questions that is more it's a moral question. Why would
Right.
you kill anything unless
Mm.
you're I mean, I'm a hunter, grew up being a hunter. I wouldn't kill anything unless it
Yeah.
was trying to kill me or I'm gonna eat it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yep. 100%. Yeah.
Mm.
That would
Well,
be that would be a tough one. Also, like, I'm gonna be honest, I would just be frozen in shock,
Right.
and like
right.
when adrenaline's running like that, you don't know if something lasted 5 seconds or 5 minutes. You have no idea. Your
right,
body
Mhm.
is
right.
biologically set up so you are not perceiving time properly. So like you're gonna freeze. The moment, I guarantee you, as a human, the moment you realize you're not the apex predator, you're gonna freeze. That's what every single living thing on this planet does when an apex predator comes
Mhm.
around.
Well, it's
We're
gonna be fight or
animals.
flight, I mean, and that's what
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah.
It's fight or flight. And
Honestly, I think some of
first
these
of all,
hunters
when you
say I
see
couldn't
something
pull the
like that,
trigger,
yeah, but when you see something like that,
but they were.
it
Mhm.
takes a few seconds to say, okay, am I really seeing this right now? Is this
Yeah.
Right.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because
I
I'll be
I
the first one
wonder
to
if
tell you
those
that's what
hunter
happened to me.
stories I wonder if those hunter stories about I couldn't pull the trigger, in actuality, they pulled the trigger in their pants and they were freaking out. And then when they finally got the nerve to say something, they're, oh, I couldn't do it. And they like, look,
Yeah.
that sounds more realistic to a good old boy explaining it, at least in my experience.
Yeah.
But
Well, like in my
I don't
West
know.
Virginia Bigfoot book, I've got interviews I've done with state troopers, doctors, lawyers, school teachers.
Mm.
All these people have something to lose by going out and telling their accounts and their stories.
Yeah.
They have a job where they could be ridiculed and possibly lose it. So, those are the type of people I look at a lot harder than I would say just Joe Blow who says he's a paranormal investigator because he had an experience. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people who claim to have Bigfoot sightings, like I said, to include state troopers, law enforcement, park rangers, school teachers, doctors, lawyers, even a prosecuting attorney in one county in this state. So those accounts and those they felt compelled enough that it was a life-changing experience that they wanted to share that with someone. And I get phone calls, I get emails all the time on this type of stuff. And if they're willing to let me put their names in my book, I do, because I think knowledge is power. And the more we share these encounters and put them out there, it helps in the whole grand scheme of things when it comes to paranormal and the paranormal in general, So that's kind of how I approach my books. So that book has my whole complete story in it and many others.
Having encounters, and especially ones that they're willing to put their names to, but even not just telling me the encounter and telling me that they're law enforcement or military or firefight, just some official capacity, some official position,
Right.
them telling those stories, that sealed the deal on a lot of things, because I've never had a Sasquatch encounter. I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen an alien. But you look at those two subjects deeply enough, and even if you've never experienced it yourself, hearing stories like that, it just gives it that level of credibility where, like, they have so much to lose. Like, why would they lie? Like, this has so much more credibility for me, so I don't have to have seen that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I believe it.
Like over the years too, like I did some cross referencing in a lot of these cases because I noticed where there happened to be a rash of Bigfoot sightings in a particular area.
Oh.
There was also, guess what, strange lights in the sky, and vice versa. So what are we dealing with here? So like I said, as an investigator, you have to think outside the box. You got to look at all aspects when you can. Just do it all, man, because there's in some cases there does seem to be some weird connection like that. Same with the Mothman. There was tons of UFO sightings around that area in Point Pleasant during the time of all the Mothman sightings. So what's going on here? Are these some kind of extraterrestrial creatures? I don't know. I mean, but there seems to be a lot of correlation in some cases.
There does.
Right. Oh. We can
One
sit here and talk about this for hours.
Weeks.
just
cool
just on the stuff that you just released, we can sit here for hours.
What kind of beer are you guys drinking?
Well, yeah,
Hey.
you're gonna be proud. You're gonna be proud. I'm
By the way, the
drinking a Voodoo
car
Ranger.
is just a green screen background on Damion. Okay, what are you drinking?
I said you're gonna be proud because I'm actually drinking a Voodoo Ranger.
Ooh.
But it's a hard ice peach tea. And it's really good.
Okay.
That sounds good, man. That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah. I went with a classic Space Dust, which I don't think is necessarily, it's not particularly paranormal, but it also kind of is.
Dust.
It kind of is. There's a hop face in space. It's magical.
I absolutely love those, but I swear to God, I always have a headache the next morning.
There's
after I drink
something
those.
about them, dude. I knew I wasn't crazy. Yeah.
There's like 2 beers like that. Just double high pitch IPA brewed locally here in Asheville, North Carolina. It's a tall boy, 9%, tropical, delicious.
Nice.
Yeah. And Dave Spinks, sir, what are you sipping on?
I have saved one of these from a Booze, Brews, and Barbecue episode.
Nice.
1 second. I gotta get my light on this so I make sure I don't miss all the information here on the. So I'm drinking what they call Dom's Red. It's from Ghost River Brewing in Memphis. And it is beer that is put into a whiskey barrel and aged done in a whiskey barrel. And let me tell you, man, it is some strong stuff.
Ooh.
It is 9.84%.
Ooh.
And here
Beat
it
me
is.
by 0.84%. Those are good.
Yeah,
is it
from,
like kind of rich and caramely or?
Yeah, it's got like a little red tinge to it too, like almost like a Killian's Red. But it is so good. So you get the great beer flavor plus a little bit of whiskey flavor in it too. So yeah,
Mhm.
this is what we did. I drank this is what I drank on the when we went on the episode of down in Memphis with Booze Brews and Barbecue
Nice.
Boys.
Hell
So I got a
yeah.
few of those
Dang,
left.
man.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
And you
Damn, that
cracking
sounds
one
good.
open for us. That's awesome. Thanks.
I don't. I'm a very light drinker, guys. I have one or two when I do have one, and that's it, man.
Right.
Bro, when you're drinking those, I don't know many folks that aren't only having
Oh,
one or two.
hey, I drank. Hey, I drank a glass about. I don't know. It was maybe a pint glass full, and it was like, whoa, dude, whoa. I'm good for the rest of the day.
Right.
It's either going to start the evening or end the night. One of the two, but you know
Yeah,
something's going to.
yeah.
Heck
I
yeah.
think I think I guess we're about 30 minutes or so in. So,
Mhm.
you want to open those lines and see if we got anybody that wants to talk about some stranger danger
Yeah,
encounters. Let's do it.
Yes.
for sure. Yeah. And so, Dave, what we normally do, we just kind of chat, share stories, just kind of keep things going, but we do keep the lines open. Every now and then we'll interrupt each other and just kind of remind folks that this isn't just a show that you have to watch. You can actually call in, you know? But
That's
yeah,
cool.
more or less. And, whatever happens, happens. We don't
I
quite
love.
have the
I
reach
love
of
the Art
coast to
Bell
coast.
vibe, man. I love it. I love the Art Bell vibe. Keep it up, guys.
Oh, appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, so the lines are just about open. Let me just get the page pulled up. Make sure I'm not going to flash anybody's phone number again. All right, good deal. It's only happened like
Oops.
4 times. Um, um, but yeah, so this on here. Tonight we're talking strangers and creeps. Call 208-717-1611 or go right to the top of the show notes. There's a little link out there. Go.beer/call. You can click that. It'll put our phone number right in your phone. Yes, we're tracking you. Give us a call. Um, yeah, what are your crazy childhood encounters? Did you ever have a stranger as a child who seemed to know your name or personal details
Mhm.
without ever being introduced? Or maybe have you ever been followed home or noticed someone watching your house repeatedly? Any encounters with strangers while traveling alone that made you change your plans or feel unsafe? The smallest little thing can actually be the turning point in what could have became a very big event in your life. So it's very important to keep those in mind. What happened that stuck with you? We want to know about those things where it's just like it was the smallest little encounter, but I can't get it out of my head. That shit's
You know,
real, and it's happened to all
Kind
of
of
us. So
brings me into
called
those Hat Man, Slender Man, Black Eyed Kid type of
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
yes,
I,
yeah,
I can't
anything.
I can't
Maybe
recall
you had a good
anything that I've
encounter. Yeah.
personally experienced of it, and if I did, I must have blacked it out.
Mm.
I did have something happen to me as a kid that was really freaky. You want to hear
Oh,
about it?
Oh
please
yeah.
Yes,
So,
start us
please
off.
take the floor,
so
sir.
when I was around, I think I was about 11 or 12, maybe 10 even. My mom used to manage these apartment complexes, and we lived in one of the townhouses. And it was in the summer, and the phone rang, and I answered it. And that was, you got to remember, guys, this is way before caller ID or any of that stuff.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I answered the phone, and there's some weirdo on there, and he was talking real weird, creepy stuff like, "I've been watching you," and this and that. And I think you could be a model. And he was probably some pedo creeper. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he's like,
Oh,
"What
Jesus
kind of
Christ.
underwear do you like?" And all this freaky stuff. And I was like, "Dude, this is no way, man." I said, of course, I didn't cuss back then, but I said "F you," and I hung up. Of course, I went and called my mom. And called my mom, and she came running over from the office. And we had a lot of friends that were police officers, and they tried to do a trace and stuff, but they never found out. But it turned out that I don't know how he got our phone number. But he knew who I was because he described me to me. You know what I mean? It was really creepy,
Hmm.
and I was scared for quite a while for that. But
Oh.
We found out, my mom found out that other kids in the apartment complex had gotten calls and notes and weird stuff too. So there was
Mm.
definitely a creeper dude running around there back then.
Yes.
Oh, and they never caught him?
No,
Oh no.
And
Yeah, somebody in the neighborhood, somebody close by.
mm,
I don't know, thought they were being a prankster or something, but that's just hella
nah, it
creepy.
was more dark and nefarious
Yeah.
than just being a
yeah.
creeper. This guy was a
Oh.
stalk. He probably wanted to kidnap kids and stuff. Who knows?
Ugh.
Mm.
Ugh.
Back in those days, I remember is when the first milk cartons started coming out with missing kids on them and
Mm.
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
true. Hmm. Yeah. How long did they do that? That wasn't like a long term thing.
It was into the 80s they did it, and
Right.
Yeah.
I
Right.
remember seeing them in the 70s when I was a
Yeah.
kid. You know, when they
Okay.
first started coming out.
Cool.
No, I think they might have lasted into like the early '90s.
Oh, did
Maybe, yeah.
I
possibly,
think so.
possibly. It's been a long time since I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if
And it
Mm.
I'm
was
not
only
mistaken, I
on
think I remember like
the
elementary
milk
school they would
cartons.
be on there.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that was pretty scary as a kid, you know, to realize somebody's watching you, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
it was nuts.
Did you live in like kind of like suburbs kind of area, or
I
like
lived
was
in
it like a very
at that
dispersed
time
kind
I
of
lived
rural
in
area?
no, it was in a city. It was in Albuquerque, New Mexico,
Okay.
pretty big city at that
Okay.
time.
Mm.
Because we were
Damn.
my stepdad had been stationed at Kirtland Air Force Base.
Oh, cool.
Big
Okay.
UFO hotspot too, by the
Hmm.
way.
Right.
And then my first base was Tucson, Arizona, and I was there during the Phoenix Lights. So,
Oh, wow.
but
Did
Okay.
you
that's a
see them?
whole nother story.
Oh
That's a
man.
Yeah.
whole nother
Bro,
story.
we got
Ah.
time. We're waiting for calls. So, and you know what? If you're out there and you're watching right now, if you're listening and you're like, I know everything about the Phoenix Lights, interrupt us. Call 208-717-1611. Dave,
That's
please
right.
take it
Yeah.
away, man. What was the Phoenix Lights like?
Please,
See,
yes.
you are a
Well,
magnet. Kristen was right.
oh, dude, you guys don't even know. Like, I was born right down the road from the Flatwoods Monster incident. I grew up with all that. My second cousin, my mom and her sister's first cousins went to school with the original eyewitnesses.
Jeez.
And I'm considered like the second world's foremost authority on the Flatwoods Monster case behind Frank Fascino Jr.
Oh my
Um,
god.
and me, him, and Andrew Smith, who runs the Flatwoods Monster Museum, like we are the top people to talk about that. But because all the other people are dead and gone now, have been for many years. But
Yeah.
Right.
I'm the one that I keep that story alive by putting on the Flatwoods Monster Conference every year. I started it. This is going to be our fourth year now. So I resurrected it from back when Frank and Stanton Friedman were starting to do it when off of Frank's books. And then his parents got real sick. He had to take care of him, and then he got sick. And I just brought him back last year for the first time in like 15 years. He was able to
Oh,
come, so hopefully he'll be able to come this year too. But long story short, I was stationed in Tucson in the Air Force, my first duty base. Um, get a call one night, the night of the Phoenix Lights. I get a call in the evening, and in the military, when you get called, and they call it a recall. Okay, so your whoever your sergeant is in charge of that recalling your squadron, they'll call you, say recall, 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 and we have a designated area we have to report to. So when that happens, we have to go down there and wait for further orders. Well, we go down there and we're getting a full battle loadout on, and we're like, what the hell is going on? We think we're going to war. We're like, they're like, everybody gear up and, hurry up and wait. That's the military. That's one of our famous sayings. You hurry up and wait until you get the next orders. So we're in there for hours, and we're like, finally, people are asking, hey, LT, what's going on? And their response was, you're on a need to know, and you don't need to know shit. Just shut your mouth and wait. And we're like, yes, sir. So we're there all night long, and we start hearing. So that base has three full squadrons of A-10s, tank busters on it. That was our base. So
Hmm.
there's some heavy duty firepower on that base. We start hearing all of our jets take off because when we go to our recall location, it's right on the flight line. So we think we're going to load up on a transport craft, and we're going somewhere. You know, we don't know where, because they never tell you ahead of time, because that way it's security. You know, they don't want that to leak out. Hey, we're sending troops here or there or whatever. So we're all waiting, and we start hearing all of our airplanes take off. We're like, oh, what the hell is going on? You know, so we're there all night. We get no further information, and then it probably like 4, 5:36 in the morning. We're like, all right, everybody, you know, put your stuff up and go home. We're like, what? This is totally unnormal. And because normally, if it was just an exercise, they would have said exercise, exercise, exercise. It's all over. You know, everybody put your gear up, and they never said exercise. They just said put your gear up and go home, with no further information, right? And then I thought it was kind of weird. They're saying don't talk to nobody about this or nothing. Just let it go. And we're like, that's just totally abnormal. So we go home, and I'm like, you know, this is on my mind. I'm like, there's something, there's something going on here, you know. So then I kick on the TV when I get home, and I see it's all over the news, and all the, you know, the Phoenix Lights, all these people saw this huge craft, multiple crafts, not just one. A lot of people think it's one, but it's multiple giant triangular shaped craft from Phoenix all the way down past Tucson. And they call that area the UFO highway, by the way. So, and so, you know, we, over the next weeks and days and stuff, we were talking that amongst ourselves, like, man, and we started asking our, you know, you go up the chain of command, you talk to your lieutenants, your captains, and they're like, shut the F up about this. Don't ask no more questions. We're like, holy crap. Okay. Next thing you know, almost my, like, so many people in my entire unit, we got deployed. So when you're in the military, you have what they call a dream sheet, right? And you list your top 10 bases you would love to go to get stationed at. Next thing you know, a bunch of us start getting our number one choices. I go to Italy. I got orders to Italy. My buddies got orders to, I know one or two of them got orders to Area 51. And so on and so forth. They're like, you know, we're like, where are you going? He goes, well, I can't say, but it's in that desert place. And we're like, no shit. And they're like, yep. I'm like, damn, I want to go there. You know, I want to go to Area 51, man. Put me there. And they're like, you know, so we all got orders, and that's how they compartmentalize these things. They ship everybody off, and they keep you away from forming groups and talking more about it, and, you know, stuff like that. So I was there during the Phoenix Lights, but I didn't see him, unfortunately, because I was stuck in a freaking hangar all night.
Mm. You know, actually, that might be a
Mm.
good way to investigate events, is to not look for them, but to look for brief periods of time where everybody that was at the base all of a sudden got shipped off to other places, and then work backwards from there. I think
Happens
I'm
all
gonna
the time. And a
file
lot
some
of
FOIA
strange stuff
requests for
happened
that.
at that base, man. I was at a lot of strange stuff. You know, there's a lot of talk of certain things around that base, and you know, I mean, airline pilots saw these things. Other Air Force, from Luke Air Force Base up in Phoenix, two F-16 pilots were following this thing and tracking it and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was just actually Kurt Russell was flying and saw it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The actor. So
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of cool. And I'll tell you something I saw out there myself when I was there. So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I played baseball all through high school, full ride scholarship in college. And then I played semi-pro ball when I was in the Air Force too. So um, I was at my coach. I played for what they called back then the Tucson White Sox. Okay. So my coach was having a party. Him and his wife just bought a new house out in this new development out there in the desert in Tucson. And his was the first house, and they were the only family living out there. And they were building all these other houses. So he was having a barbecue. We all went over there. And there's probably like 20 of us hanging out, you know, having a couple beers and eating burgers and dogs, having a good old time. And then one of the guys goes, what the fuck is that? And we're like, what? And he starts pointing up in the sky. And we all look, and there's this round, well, more egg shaped, I would say, than round, but this pearly white looking sphere or egg shaped thing hanging in the sky, the size of what I would say maybe a Volkswagen or something, maybe a little bigger, but it was a few thousand feet up. And we're like, whoa, what is that? You know, we're all looking at it. and we're watching it for several minutes, and then it just kind of, there's no noise or anything, nothing flashing on it like a normal aircraft. It just comes down like to a couple hundred feet, and it's, then you can really see the size of the thing. It's pretty good size. It's at least as big as a Volkswagen, if not bigger. And we're like, whoa. And when it moved, one guy said, F this, I'm out of here. And he took off and got in his car and hauled ass. And we're just watching this thing. It was going on for several minutes. And then it just goes shoo, straight up into space and never made a noise or anything. And I'm like looking at, I looked at the beer. I was like, what's in this beer, dude? And I mean, that's how trippy it was. But we all saw that. There was like 18 of us at that time, 19. One guy left. He didn't even get to see it shoot up into space. And like I said, that whole area is called the UFO highway for a reason. So that's one crazy thing I did see. And growing up on military bases myself, I know every type of aircraft we have. I was in the Air Force for over 8 years, actually active duty myself, till I blew my knee out, and I just said, I'm not going to ride a desk no more. I'm not going to ride a desk the rest of my career. So I just got out and went into federal law enforcement after I rehabbed my knee. But it's crazy stuff, man. There's stuff out there, I'm telling you. And I have a whole bunch of crazy stuff I write about and written that I've seen and stuff like that. That's what my forte is,
Being somebody who's actually seen something like that for themselves, and in a group setting, no less, like other people saw this thing. Like what crosses your mind when you hear the kind of like rote explanation of, well, okay, it's the military. They've had this secret technology for decades. Like, do you yeah, okay. You think it could be
it
them? It
definitely
could have
could.
been.
I think some of the stuff that people are seeing is actually reverse engineered craft from alien tech. Personally, that's my personal opinion. But you can always, according to all the experts and the military personnel that have seen these things up close, you can always tell the difference, because most of the reverse engineer ones will have little antennae on them or some sort of apparatus that the other ones don't have. Even though they display some of the similar flight characteristics, they have a little apparandi on them of some sort that protrudes out from them. And there's been multiple I would guess you would call them whistleblowers out there that have said this, but either way, that proves to me, and what we've seen lately in the news and all this stuff coming out, there's no question in my mind. I mean, I actually wrote a UFO book about West Virginia. It's called Real West Virginia UFOs. It's all about the Flatwoods Monster and the connection to the Green Bank Observatory that was built right after, here in West Virginia. The largest steerable radio telescope in the world is right here in West Virginia. That occurred, a government-funded project after the Flatwoods Monster incident. So there's no coincidence in that, guys. Let me tell you. But going back to the other part, yeah, I think that it's definitely some of the things people are seeing are reverse engineered craft, or top secret craft that they've been developing for years, not necessarily connected to alien tech. But when something flies 20,000 miles an hour and makes not a sound, I mean, come on, come on, man. That's not. We went from prop aircraft to the SR-71 almost overnight. That just doesn't happen that quick. It doesn't happen that quick,
God dang it. All my theories dashed.
I mean, that's it. Listen, this is all opinion, guys. Like I said, there's no proof of any of this stuff.
I'm fucking with you, Dave.
There's just experience, man. There's just experience,
Oh, man. Peeps in the chat.
Being in the
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're in the military, you hear all kinds of scuttlebutt. You hear from people that are doing certain jobs, telling things that maybe they shouldn't be telling about, but they do, because they're just human. They want to share what they've seen, because I mean, who has the right to hold that? If that's true, and I believe it probably is, more than likely there are intelligent species out there. Nobody has the right to hold that back from anybody on this planet. I mean, that's a game changer, man. It's a total game changer.
What's your take on if disclosure will happen, what it might look like. I guess just what's your take on disclosure? Likelihood, percentage of if it is going to happen. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of factors that go into that. I think
Yeah.
obviously some people, if just say they came out tomorrow and said, "Yep, there's alien species. We communicated with them. We talked to them. We've seen them. They're in here. They're on this planet with us right now." Let's face it, some people are going to freak the hell out and kill themselves. I mean, that's going to happen because everything they've ever been told is a lie, which we've been lied to the whole time anyway. There's so many metaphysical secrets and things that have been hidden from us in the church, in the Vatican, in the vault of the Vatican. They have everything. It's all about money, power, and control and manipulation. Okay. If they can control the masses through fear, they're going to do it, because guess what? That makes more money for them, the elites, so to speak. Right. Um, that's just a known fact. I mean, Rome did it. They're still doing it. I mean, that's what that's what's going on right now. I mean, this is a holy war of huge proportions that's never ended. It's good against evil, in my humble opinion, in many different ways. With the COVID stuff and the pedo stuff that's coming out, it's just insanity. I mean, we're living in the twilight zone, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I mean, for real.
Yep.
And they've been messing around with that Hadron Collider. Who knows what they've opened up or knocked the timelines off? Who knows what's going on, man? For real. I mean, it's some really creepy, strange stuff going on out there right now. But I think a lot of the truths have been covered up for many centuries. And a lot of the things we've been told about religion and other things are lies because they seek to control us. And that's just my humble opinion. You can take it or leave it. Okay. I do believe in God. I'm a Christian for the most part. I don't believe that everything they tell us in the Bible is 100%. I think it's been manipulated and changed so many times that we don't know the true facts of all of it. Okay. I mean, even if you look back when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, many people died over those because they said, according to them, it says, Jesus is everywhere. You can turn over a stone. I am there. I'm in your heart. I live within your heart. So the church didn't want that coming out. So guess what? The people that were saying that stuff, they mysteriously disappeared. Okay. So if that doesn't tell you just one little iota, hey, they're trying to control the narrative here, I don't know what else does. And you can look it up. It's all there. It's all fact. It's truth. Okay. So I don't know. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. I believe as long as you're a good person and you have good intent, you don't seek to go out and hurt people, intentionally, then that's what it's all about for me. You have to have a good heart and be have good intent towards folks. Everybody. We all bleed the same color, man. So.
Well said. Hear, hear.
Absolutely.
Man, all right, folks in the chat.
It's crazy stuff. It's all intertwined too. It's the paranormal is all around us all the time.
Right.
I tend to think it's all connected on some level, and it's just, I don't know, weirds me out. I can't go too deep into that.
Oh yeah, you can go down the rabbit hole and scramble your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I love.
My brain's already scrambled, Dave. I can't.
I'm doing my job then, right? So.
Yes. Oh man. Well, I know we are going to be running up against time. We do have one story that was submitted, and of course, we do want anybody in the chat who wants to call in. The opportunity is obviously there. We want you to call in with your strange encounters with strangers.
Yeah, I want to hear some stories.
I know.
That's what it's all about.
The
I blame YouTube for screwing up the link. Sorry,
I do too.
for screwing up the first live stream.
It's like, come on, man, YouTube, get your shit together. They've done it before too, and that's the thing. It's like, why do we keep coming back? We I guess we love the abuse.
It
Uh,
could be me, guys. Humbly, I mean, this has happened to me on numerous shows. They don't
it
like what I
could
talk
be.
about sometimes.
Look, you're already the
Oh,
ghost
they're having that guy
magnet.
on. We gotta mess that link up. Hold on.
If
They're having that guy on again.
I don't disbelieve that. You're all look, you're already the ghost magnet, and maybe you got some like weird energy too on top of everything, and
Right.
you're messing it up, man.
I
Mm.
try to
But
have
no,
good energy, though. I
Mm.
mean,
well, we love your energy, and
Oh
we
yeah.
love having you here. But yeah, that number just one last time for chat 208-717-1611.
where's John at? He need to
And
tell his butt to call in. He's got some stories.
yeah, John.
I sent him the link earlier, and I figured he would at least join in on the chat or something.
Well,
I want to hear
um,
about the shower ghost.
shower ghost. He's got a story about
Yeah.
a shower ghost.
Yeah, he posted it on his Instagram.
Oh, was that? Oh, okay. See, I saw him talking about investigating ghosts in the shower. I thought he was just joking. Maybe he's got
Yeah, he
ghosts
was.
in there.
He's just
Oh,
being.
okay.
He's awesome. But yeah, we've had some of the like the Memphis episode I did with those guys. Some really crazy stuff happened. I don't know if they talked about it with you guys, but
I don't think
I
so.
can't
About the
wait till the
Memphis
show
stuff.
comes out because it's fun, but the paranormal stuff in there is awesome and it's real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other stuff's entertainment value, the cooking and going to the the barbecue joints and then barbecuing. And let me tell you, man, those guys can all cook, man. Ty and Barry and they can cook. Barry or Ty, when we did Octagon Hall in Kentucky, they cooked up some miniature like tomahawks on the grill. Oh my god, they melted in your mouth. They were like the best freaking meat I've ever tasted on a grill in my
Mm.
life. Ty is the
Ooh.
real deal, man.
Wow.
And but we had some crazy encounters, some crazy stuff happened, and I can't wait for everybody to see these episodes wherever they're gonna put them out. Or I know, I think they're looking at the mainstream streaming because when you sell your show to a network, they take all the money and then they own the rights to your show. It's just not worth it anymore. So I think they're looking at that, and they'll be seen by millions of people. I mean, this is a great concept for a fun show, and it's going to be really cool. And then I'm working with. I have now signed on a couple years ago. I signed on with a dude named Christopher Garitano. He did the Montauk Chronicle movie. He had Strange World on Travel Channel, so I'm working with him and his company now. We're coming out with a new thing this year. It's called A Haunting We Will Go. Unlike any of these scripted shows you've ever seen, I'm super looking forward to that because it's a whole new concept. And Christopher's a brilliant filmmaker, investigator, and researcher too. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
really stoked to be working with him in his company now. And we have what he's doing is continuing Strange World, the series that was on Travel Channel, with full length 2-hour documentaries. So we got we filmed multiple stuff, and we got more. I'm filming right now with him, and more to come. I mean, it's going to be really cool, and I'm super stoked to be doing that. Got new books coming out. You guys seen those? Some of you have been. I sent you the links for all my stuff. So, lots of fun getting the word out, just sharing my experiences and my time. I've spent now it's more than half my life into this, pushing 40 years now,
Yeah,
but I
that's
didn't
that.
go public. See, I didn't go public with what I was doing while I was in law enforcement because they probably would have sent me to the head shrinker. But in 2011, when I retired, everybody knew what I did. I just wasn't as public as I am now,
Right.
But yeah, I decided, you know what? I'm going now that I'm retired. I did 20 years in the government. I'm gonna do something bigger now and go out and share what I do with folks, and that's what I did, and it took off like just crazy. Wrote my
Yeah.
first book, then the TV people start coming, and then it just goes on and on and on, and more and more and more and more.
Now,
So fun stuff.
a hunting we will go. You said this is like the upcoming project. It's about to come
Yeah,
out. When is that
yeah.
coming
If you
out?
look
So I
up,
can.
yeah, it'll come out later this year, probably in the early fall. I can't say because it's his timeline.
Oh, okay.
When he feels it's right to release, he's going to release it. There's a lot of advertising that has to go into it, but it's going to be worldwide streaming, and we'll have theatrical releases too. All his movies will have theatrical releases that
That's
I'm in and he's in,
awesome.
and lots of stuff coming from that. But I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? But yeah,
Just
that's oh, just I know what I was going to say. Look up Christopher Garetano, Garetano, on YouTube, and there's trailers for it. There's White Phosphorus Pictures is the name of his company. Look that up, and you can see the trailer for Haunting We Will Go and the Terror Down South is two movies. Actually, three of his movies are coming out this year. There's one on called Horror Business that he's re-releasing. That's a new version of it because he does make horror movies too, So,
Oh, okay.
but he's a hardcore dude into all things paranormal and supernatural as well.
That's that's awesome. Yeah,
So
I
lots of cool
can't wait to
stuff coming,
support you.
man.
And if I can see that in the theaters, to support the both of you, I would absolutely do that. That sounds just like my jam. But
Yeah, I
um,
mean, those movies will have a limited theatrical release, I'm
yeah,
sure. I mean,
yeah,
I know they're going to have theatrical releases. I just don't know how if it's going to go full blown all over the country or not. But they will be on. I mean, I know they're going to be on like Discovery UK and Italy and all that stuff too. And all the major streaming platforms at some point this year. So it'll be a lot of cool stuff.
definitely be
And I'll post it all
shouting it
over
all
my
out.
socials, when it's time. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Well, that's the great thing about Beer
And
Booze and
for
Boogeymen. We can shout it out here, and then we've all got our own shows
yes.
outside of this too. So it's a spider web of
yeah,
networking.
reach out to him and
Hell
get him
yeah.
on the show, man. I'm sure
Oh
he'd love to
hell
do it.
yeah. Hell yeah.
And
Okay.
for anybody that wanted to find Christopher slash White Phosphorus Pictures, I did just pin the link to their YouTube
I
channel
see
in
that.
the chat. So that'll be there for now and for later.
Good thinking, bud.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
yeah. So we are going to run up against time here. I don't know how you guys do. You want to keep the lines open for just a little bit longer, and we'll read the story that was
It's up to y'all.
submitted and see if we get any final
Yeah, let's
calls.
take the
Who
story and just see what happens.
Yeah, who wanted to read that story?
I have no way to
I
pull it up.
didn't get I didn't get a copy.
Okay, well, I got
Dave,
a
but
copy.
you liked it. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
No,
What's
Put
that?
Dave on
What's
the
that?
spot.
No. I was like, who's
Hey,
gonna read the
I'll
story?
do
It's
it,
like,
man.
no.
I can talk about this stuff for days, man.
Although
No,
that's not a bad idea. We
Please
could
check out my
Is it
website. You can
Robert?
see all the events I'm appearing at,
Yes.
speaking at, all the books I have, all that stuff. I appreciate it.
All the links, they're right up in the show notes. They're like the first group of links right in this episode's descriptions. That special guests, Dave Spinks website, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are all listed on there. So
Yeah,
I
and
hope
I think
that's
we're gonna be filming another episode of Booze, Brews, and Barbecue in Mississippi
hell yeah.
in the near
Ooh.
future. So
Yeah.
at the most
Good deal.
haunted house in Mississippi. So that's gonna be awesome.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
Hell
See, we
yeah.
didn't even get to ask you about Willow's Weep, the most
Yeah.
haunted house in North America.
Yeah,
I did not
I'm
know
kind of
you owned
known.
it. I didn't know you were
Yeah,
an owner.
I own a new one now too.
Oh, damn.
It's called it's an old veteran, multiple deaths in the house. He killed himself in the house, and the family took what they wanted and left everything else of his. It's a giant trigger object house. I'm kind of known for long-term projects and this stuff. So, like with the Willows Weep house, I bought it and did a 7-year paranormal project there.
Wow.
Trying to gather evidence, and then the place was so evil and nasty, I ended up tearing it down on my birthday in 2025. So was it 2025 or 2024? Gosh, man, I can't remember. But I just didn't want I wouldn't want that on my conscience as anybody had anything happen to them spiritually. A lot of people died in that house, man. And it was just one of the most negative, notorious, evil locations. And it was known for that before I ever bought it. The owner I became friends with before me, and watch the story and read my book about it. And there's book number 2 coming out on that too. And there will be a movie on about that through Christopher eventually in the future. Based off true events and the whole 9 yards. So, it's just one of those places, that is just full of bad energy from multiple deaths, horrible deaths. There was pedophilia in the house.
Oh.
Oh my
Um,
God.
there was drugs in the house. You name it, all that bad energy, suicides,
Yeah.
murders, you name it, it was
Mhm.
there. And
Mm.
that, in my opinion, that blood stains the very ground at those type of places, and that
Mhm.
energy never leaves. But you can help dissipate it, and that's what I did. I tore the house down. We had the land and the whole area blessed by multiple disciplines to quell that, and that's it. That's it. So
That's it.
Mm.
Dang. But now you got a new one. You got a new one.
yes,
I'll be very
yeah, and
interested
it's
to
open. It's
yeah, go
open for teams to come investigate.
okay.
It's
Great.
called the Spirit Town Shanty Town Spirit Shack. Sorry, and It's in this little town here in West Virginia. It was a lumber and coal mining town, and it's on a row of houses that used to be a shanty town where people literally lived in shacks. There was robberies, murders, accidental deaths. That was a highly
Yeah.
dangerous. Those are all highly dangerous jobs, and you had the roadmen that would rob and kill people for whatever they had, and there's a whole history behind it. But the railroad tracks used to, for the lumber company and the coal, used to run right in front of the house, literally about 10 feet away. So, and there was a smokestack, and there was a tannery just across from my house, and just across from this house where it had a tannery, and there's a giant one of those old giant brick smokestacks, and one of my relatives actually fell off of that and died. And it's like it literally in my backyard, and of course the
Mm.
smokestack's no longer there, but there's all these deaths right here in this little tiny area, and there's
Mm.
these old stories of this prostitute that was murdered right there on the train tracks, and people claim to see her to this day walking the
Oh.
tracks, and all this legend and lore. It's just a
Mhm.
creepy little place.
Mhm.
And you got the last guy that lived in it that killed himself. All his personal items are still in the house.
Hey.
So that's a giant
Jeez.
trigger object, and that's what you look for when you're dealing with these. And
Mhm.
within the first week that I owned it, I put security cameras up, and they have motion detection. Like the second day I had them up, man, I'm getting notifications on my cell phone, and you can hear voices in there, people walking around, and you can't hear what they're saying, but they're it's like doing like that whispering, like
Mhm.
people
Mm.
conversating, but you can't hear them. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at
Yeah.
all the cameras. There's nobody in the house. Nobody can get in there. So it's very active. About 2 weeks after he killed himself, and the blood is still in the house where killed himself. The chair he
Yeah.
killed himself in still in there. So you've got all that energy. Seeing both his wives died in the house too.
Man.
So it's
Yeah.
just one of those crazy places that has a lot of stuff going on.
Hey, you
And
guys, B3 crew, we could do another group ghost hunt.
We
Go
could.
to Mr. Dave
yeah, and
Spinks'
I
house.
don't charge a lot of money, guys, because I want people to come in and experience it and report to me what they experience. It's part of my project.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
because I feel the more time you can immerse yourself in these type of locations, the better chance you have to document real paranormal evidence. It's not,
Mhm.
I can spend and I have a thing planned where I'm going to go in there and live in it for about 30 days myself and
Oh, okay.
document
Mm.
everything again.
Okay.
And then, by spending more time, even in people's homes that call me, I don't just go in there for one night and say, oh, it's haunted. I go in there for multiple nights and immerse myself into that situation to see if I can experience what they're claiming to have experienced themselves. So
Mhm.
that's the real way to do this. It's not
Mhm.
just, all right, I'm going to go check out a place for a night and see what happens. That's part of
Right.
it. That's fine. But
Right.
it's much better. You have much better opportunity if you do it the longer you can. It's
Right.
obvious. It's a no brainer. So,
Mhm. Well, be very curious to
Absolutely.
see what you find after all is said and
yeah. So
done.
you guys could email
Definitely.
me, and if you want to
Absolutely.
investigate, and we'll tell you the cost and all that. And
For sure.
you get it from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay.
And if you book
Nice.
2 nights, you get a half price. So it's like
Oh.
300 a night, and you can sleep in it if you want, if you dare. And cots,
if
And is
and
if
this
cots and air mattress.
people
I would dare.
be able to find this on your website? Is that right?
Yeah, all you gotta do, go to my website and email me through the email for contact, and then I'll tell you all the information and how to do it.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, and that is in this episode's description, by the way, y'all. It's
Yeah.
right up there at the top.
All right, all right. Before I think we're climbing up on the time.
I think
What
so.
do you
Yeah.
what do you say we save that story
Yes.
for next time? I do want to shout out
Sorry, I didn't mean to take it
Mr.
over.
No, no.
No,
Oh
you're
my
good.
gosh,
You're
no,
totally
you're
good.
What the heck?
we love
You're
you.
a guest.
We love
No.
you.
Technical difficulties took the show.
It
Yeah.
did.
That's why.
It did. That's unfair.
And we appreciate the folks that still hunted us down, even though we had to like switch between like 5 different live stream videos
Right.
popping up.
They did. They just
It was like-
hopped like right over. It was so weird. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
The whole YouTube.
Appreciate you, diehards.
But before we do our regular closeout, I did want to just shout out Mr. Dave here one more time. Just make sure that folks who are watching the live and catch this on the replay, please make sure that you follow Dave. He's got TikTok at Real Supernatural. He is on Instagram. That's where I follow him right now. Dave Spinks 1569, and absolutely definitely go visit his website because he's got
Mhm.
all the links to everything, and then you can also book your overnight at his very haunted home, davespinkspi.com, and
Hell
those
yeah.
are very easy ways to reach out to him and support him and get in touch with him. But that's what I
Absolutely.
had to say. So whoever wants to take over, and we can close this bad boy out, and let us
So
know what
I'll
we're
go
talking about
ahead
next
and
time.
so next month, in about a month, I think we decided April 9th. I think it's what we decided.
Yes.
So April 9th, we're going to be chatting about, and we want to hear your stories about this stuff, nightmares and premonitions. We want to hear all about it because everybody has nightmares. We want to hear your creepiest, spookiest, freakiest ones you've had. If you've ever had any premonitions that actually came true, whether it's Final Destination type shit or just, I had a premonition I was going to win the lottery and you won the lottery. We want to talk about that. So, April 9th,
I got a
8,
little of both.
8 p.m. Central, I think we decided. Same time as
That'll be a
tonight.
cool episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell
Yes.
yeah. I'm excited. 8 p.m. Central.
Mhm.
Yes. All right. We did not prep Mr. Spinks for this next part, how we close
did
it
not.
Oh,
out.
no. Okay, so this is the part where we make a small blood sacrifice.
Oh,
And- Okay.
Yeah.
Just a small one. Just a small one.
Dave, you know what? You're a quick fella. I think you can be quick on your feet here. Have just a final cheers that you want to leave with a salutation that you want to leave with everybody. You're going to be the last one to speak here, so you'll follow our lead, and we'll cheers everybody good night.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Let's start.
Mm.
All right,
I got mine in a cup,
Gil. All right, so we'll go, and then you'll be final. All right, Gil.
Gil.
I don't start
Gil?
this off.
Yeah,
Who
that's
starts
don't-
this
Gil.
off?
It's me.
They don't-
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yes.
D Boots. I'm so sorry.
We're professionals. Now,
We
can
are.
you tell we
We
only
are.
do this once a month? So just,
All right. All right. So until next time, here's a toast to the ghost in your hall.
The Bigfoot hiding in your yard.
the gray waiting for you to fall asleep.
My
Dave?
turn.
Yes, sir.
All right. This is what I always say. I say, hey, take 5-10 minutes out of your day, go outside, look up in the sky, because you'll never know what you might see. Spend that time. Don't just stay in the house, go to work 9 to 5, and get out there, look around, and you'll be surprised at what
Hell
you
yeah.
see. And be good to
Yeah.
to one another. And until the next time, love everybody.
Next time.
I will drink to that.
Hell
Cheers,
yeah.
everybody.
Yes.
Night, y'all.
Cheers.